Close to game ready, you feel like Kobe is after missing a few weeks of camp?
I think the good thing about it, nobody's getting ready just yet. Obviously, missing time, right? He's going to have to knock off some dust, and we'll just evaluate it day by day. But to say, when he's going to be ready or when he's not, it's kind of on him a little bit.
What have you seen from him?
You
In a
know,
week and a half he's been back.
just knocking off rust. As a defensive back, you miss a few weeks, right? When everybody else is already rolling, receivers kind of knock their dust off. Might be a step late, ahead in certain movements. So we just got to continue to manufacture some reps for him, and then we can make up some lost time.
At 100%, what does he add to your roster?
Some experience, right? We got a lot of bodies in there that, have some talent and have some abilities. But again, you get better at football by playing football. So you get somebody that's played in the football game before, right? That obviously brings value to our team.
I'm sure you watched Jaden run tape from last year. What have you seen him? How he's elevated his game?
I think for Jaden, he's got the necessary tools in terms of the movement skills. For him, it's all about production on the ball. That's something that he and I have had discussion about, him and his goals into the future, that he'll put him closer to his goals if he gets his hands on more football. So we all know that he can run, he can jump, he can catch, he can do all of those things. The next evolution of his game is obviously, becoming a better leader for us, because he's one of those guys who's been around a long time. But at the same time, he's got to make production on the ball for us to be the best secondary we can be.
For him, is that just being more aggressive in some scenarios?
I think it's just confidence, right? I think the difference between playing receiver, right, you don't have to worry about someone else scoring a touchdown, right? So a lot of times when that ball's in the air, there's a second level of thinking in terms of a defensive back that, hey, I want to pick this ball, but if I don't pick this ball, is it going to score? So just having the confidence in the body position, right, making sure we're in phase on our routes, that brings the confidence, right, to go and attack the football at the highest point.
Starting to see that come out with him a little bit this camp?
Yeah, he's had some opportunities that he's made. He has some opportunities that he hasn't. And, we just go back and look at the tape and try to evaluate what we could have done better.
Likewise with Noble, where have you seen him kind of make the biggest strides based off his tape from last year and just kind of what you saw in his
I think he's stronger. You know what I mean? He's a little bit better in the run fit, right? And able to set some edges. In terms of him skill-wise, movement-wise, he's taking another step forward in consistency. And that's what we need him to do if he's going to play big boy snaps for us. So I think his eye discipline has gotten a lot better. And just for him, just the functionality, right? How to operate, right? Get ourselves aligned, nickel right, nickel left, things of that nature that he's got to get used to doing it more than 10 or 15 times. Right now, we can actually play upwards of 40 plus snaps right now. So that consistency is going to be key as he moves forward.
When you're looking at all the players in your position group, what are you looking for when you're looking for a nickel?
Just a diverse skill set. A nickel is somebody that's got to be quick enough to cover out on the outside, but also physical enough that they can get in the tackle fit, right? Go fit a B gap, right? And be able to rush the passer as well. So you're kind of looking for a tweener, if you would, right? That definitely has the long speed in order to do it, but he's got to be a little bit more diverse in his skill set than more so a corner would be. You don't see many corners going in the B gap and go attack the run fit. So it's got to be a little bit more contact courage at that position than you would see at corner or on the outside. So that's the biggest difference in those positions, that those guys got to go get in the run fit and get their hands dirty. Right? And outside, offense can manufacture ways to put you in the run fit, but more times than not, you'll be out of the fit.
Why does Noble fit in that group?
Just length, athleticism, right, and the ability to set an edge. I think that's an ability that football's played, right, by setting edges and running to the football. So if we got good edges, we should be solid, right, with everything else. So he does a really nice job of setting edges, but he also does a nice job of coverage. So when you combine the two, that should be the making of a solidified nickel that can help us out.
Some programs will kind of mix and match their nickels and put in a certain guy based on kind of the opposing personnel. Are you guys planning to do that, or is it kind of hoping that Noble kind of makes that over?
I think it just depends on how you structure your system. I think some people structure their system with the nickel, right, being in the run fit more times than not. So that's probably got to be a bigger body. That's not necessarily how we're structured, right? We can be structured that way, but that's not necessarily our bread and butter. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a run fitter, right, on early down. So it's a little bit more philosophical differences on how we align our defense versus other teams may do.
Lost a lot of experience at safety. How are the young guys come up? Where do you see that position group right now?
Sun-ups and sun-downs, right? It's going to be good days, it's going to be bad days. And the good thing about football, and the thing that people on the outside may not realize, that we're installed. Okay, you might install upwards of 10, 11 calls that are going to be, but I guarantee you we're not going to run 12 calls on a game day. So a lot of these guys are processing a lot of information, but if we were to play a game, right, that menu will be reduced so they're able to function and play a lot faster. So those guys are growing each and every day. It helps when you have guys like Jack Conde, AJ, having those guys, Skyler, who's been in the room to kind of prompt a little bit more communication in the room, right, in terms of us getting confidence in the meeting room. We just needed to translate with that second unit of guys on the grass to be a little bit more faster and what we call playing ahead of the snap, right, because everything's nice when the offense is static and they don't move. right? But no defense is static once the offense is moved. So it's getting to that next level of thinking, anticipatory in our thought process, right, to make sure that when it moves, we move and we know exactly where we're going, and that's communicating and echoed across the whole defense.
The secondary as a whole, where do you feel like you guys still have the most room to grow?
I think the most room to grow is going to be the experience part of it, right? We got a lot of bodies that we feel that can do a lot of different things just in terms of their skill set. I think it's on us in finding the right combination of people, right, so we can get a lot of bodies in there. We got some competitive depth, we feel. All these guys do different things on the field very well. Some cover well, some are more physical than others. Some guys are really good down in the box. Some guys are good in the post. So it's on us as a staff to find the right combination of packages, right, so we can use the depth to our advantage.
At what position do you feel like it's the closest call when it comes down to naming a starter? What's the closest battle?
I think in the secondary, it's still we're going hot right now at corner. Right, I think Andre George's having a really nice camp right now. Kobe's adding himself in the mix. Mason White's done a really nice job in terms of what his skill set is and bringing a certain value to that room that maybe everyone else doesn't necessarily possess. I'm really impressed where Exodus is right now to be a young kid. We're going to continue to develop and push him to see what his ceiling can be, see if he can help us out this season. So I think corner is really, really tight there. I think, that next unit of safeties is pretty tight between those guys as well, right? Those guys are taking turns, whether it's Tyrese Ivy or, Jaheim Patterson, right, or Marion York. Those guys are taking turns having a good day, right? So we just want somebody to take some ownership of that deal, right? And some of that stuff's going to be played out on the grass, right? Because, it's good to play out here on practice days, and sometimes there's a tag tempo and thud tempo, but who's going to get guys on the ground, right? Who's going to make plays when the ball's in the air? And some of that stuff can't be answered, right, until we get to play a real football game.
What do you like about Jaheim so far? Not years this fall.
I think when he steps off the bus, we want him to step off first, right? When you talk about guys who have size, athleticism, he's got a certain level of physicality that he brings to the game. And I think as he continues to grow and mature, right, in his dedication towards the scheme and the things outside of the 20-hour work week, I think his potential is going to continue to grow. Because when you see him out there on the field and when he decides to go, it's a difference maker, right? And you have a 6'4" body that can run 4.5, right, and put his hat on people, is not afraid to get in there in the fire. So that's something that we covet in terms of his skill set, right? We just need him to come on loan. Like we talk about bringing the floor, the room up in terms of our mental knowledge, right? We want to bring him up with the rest of the guys in terms of like AJ, right? Get guys like Skylar, guys like Jack who can communicate and operate efficiently, right? We sit those guys right next to Jaheim, right? And it's not a situation where, we're not trying to help one another in the room, right? We're all going to play, right? I think everybody understands that the days of defensive backs playing 85 snaps 12 times, those days are over with, right? If you want to have the guys healthy and especially to have any opportunity, to play past here, right, they're going to need to not necessarily play 85 plays every single snap. So I think for us, we just want to continue to build competitive depth, right, understanding that, hey, the details matter, and the guys that execute during the practice week, and the guys that correlate that game plan on the grass, those guys are going to roll with.
What have you seen on Size so far in fall?
Man, Si's probably the best athlete in the room, to be honest, right? He's quick on quick, right? For him, he's a guy that's got to continue to grow for us to be our natural potential. Okay, with us having a lot of guys in the room that have different skill sets, we need guys like Si to step around so we can move guys around on third down and really get into some of our exotic packages and things like that we've been working on. Obviously, we got to stop the run on first and second down in order to get to those situations, but I think Si brings a different coverage value to us in terms of his ability to redirect, change direction, and also to stay on top of routes. But he's probably the best athlete in the room right there, so we need to continue to grow. He's going to add versatility to that package.
Last question. All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, appreciate